Welcome back to our series of Goshin Ho. Today we'll be doing Mae Ryo Te Dori, so both hands. Again, Sensei Kerry is helping me today. So, okay, breakdown. You really need the mats down for this, and if you can, double up on the mats. When we practice this, then we just go down to the lock on the shoulder if we're trying on a hard floor. And then when we get the opportunity to put the mats down, then we do all the way through. But first of all, let me take you through the hands. Okay, you actually turn your body. You leave your right hand where it is, and you turn your left hand into it, and you present. Can you just let go a sec? You present these two bones to this hand that's catching, that's gripping them. So let me do that again. Kick. I'm going to turn my body so as it's presented itself. So I've got the thinner part. There's obviously two bones in here. I'm getting the thinner part instead of trying to catch the wide part. So turn. This hand receives. Then I move my hip forward. I can move in. And what I want to do is, can you see the left hand, my left hand going down to Sensei Kerry's, almost his fingertips, because that's the leverage then when I want to lift. So I'm pulling this hand, the wrist in, and sliding my hand down. Pull in, slide down. Then hip, hip. Next part, I'll try and turn around a little bit. You want to be lifting, and this is the part that you don't see. Your elbow is locking. Then this hand just flicks. Can you see here? So this hand goes for stow. So I'm attacking the wrist, and I grab. So I've not only got his wrist, move that one away. Not only have I got his wrist here, elbow, wrist, and this is the basis for the throw later on, this one. So again, karaite, turn, pull, slide, move under the center, up, elbow, lock, underneath, I've still got. Then I go for the throw, which is down. It's not just this. I've actually trying to use my shoulder on Sensei Kerry's elbow. I'm not going to throw, but if you move this one away, can you see I've locked their wrist to go, and also I'm going to use my shoulder. I struggle today pulling this foot back, but that gives me the, let go a sec, this gives me the impetus the moving of my centre. Back and throw. Take you through it again. Carry it tight, turn the body. Pull the wrist in. Slide down slightly, move your hip in. Go up, get the lock first on their elbow. Stow underneath, lock in. Going under. You can stop here and put the lock on here. But we're going down and then let go. Then pull this foot back and pull. Quite a complicated series of events, but I hope I broke it down enough for you to try and follow. Be very careful when you're doing it, especially on their joints. Be very observant, not only visually, but listening to them. 1, 2, slide, under, lock. Lock if you want, or down and through.
So from Ukei's point of view, with this Goshin Ho, Sensei mentioned there are some very powerful locks in the wrist, elbow, and even into the shoulder. And if you're holding on with both hands, it becomes difficult to tap out. So while you're practicing and getting comfortable with it, it may be prudent to keep your left hand free so you can tap. If you can't, stamp with your feet. But all the pressure tends to be on the right arm. The throw is very difficult. The direction you're being thrown, the hand you wish to roll along is the one that's actually being thrown. So it becomes a little bit difficult to perform the roll and the throw in a respectable, competent manner where you would roll along the arm. So you need to play around with that, and you need to be very careful. Otherwise, if you're not, you'll face plant into the deck. You may need to get your left hand involved and use a similar principle of rolling up the back of the arm as you go over. Try to avoid putting your wrists flat. In a previous video where we did the throw, it annoys me to this day that in the photo I've got my hand flat and I'm not taking my own advice, because you're caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. If you do this at speed, you've got enough momentum to get your hand down and roll. If you do them slowly, where you're trying to protect your partner, you haven't got that momentum to get into the roll, so you need to put your hands down. So if you do, try and maybe go on your knuckles or roll along the wrists. This is a dangerous technique. It doesn't give you a lot of opportunity to perform a roll. So if you're not careful and somebody goes a little bit quick doing the throw, you can very seriously end up face first in the ground. So be careful. Break this down into the component parts. Make sure you've got the lock at all times, and then treat the throw almost as a separate entity. And make sure you've got plenty of good mats down when you do. Otherwise, it's quite a dangerous technique.
Okay, conclusion. One of the most involved Goshin Hos. Quite tricky. I don't think I did it full justice today with the actual pullback and the throw. But if it's like number 5 Kion and number 5 Gumitigata, they seem to be the turning points where they're quite involved. Every single number 5 is quite involved. So this one's very similar to them. Different principles, different techniques, different directions, attacking different joints, finding out the best way to slide. Instead of grabbing and trying to push this hand down, if you're pulling, you can naturally slide your hand down. Next one is having the confidence to make sure you've got the lock, yeah, and the shito into their wrist, so you're attacking their wrist, their elbow. So the only thing left really is their shoulder, yeah. And then when you go to throw, it's not just this, it's actually the shoulder that does a lot of the work, and moving your center of gravity so that they go down. Coming to the throw, you really need a crash mat, okay? Because it should be a backwards, going over the top and doing a back break full, back break full. So you have to arch your back and you really stamp your foot down to arch your back with your fists up, looking towards them. So practice on a crash mat, because you will make mistakes until you've perfected it. Yeah, I've seen people doing it on the hard floor. Great if you're an expertise at it, but if you make a mistake, you can damage your body, especially with bruising your heels. If you've ever bruised your heels, you know what I'm on about. You end up wobbling about for 2 weeks until it repairs. So be very careful with the throw. If you want to do a forward roll, do a forward roll, but make sure you've got some mats down. Very involved, not just for the defender, but the attacker as well. That's involved for them. They've got to be involved with you, and not to abuse them. And when they go for the roll, as Sensei Kerry said, it's very awkward. So take your time.